Hello folks, and welcome to another video. In this video I wanted to shoot a quick overview of the van that me and Emily have been travelling around Iceland in for the last 10 days. I'm going to take you inside the cabin, I'm going to take you inside the actual camper van itself, the back end, and show you around and show you what's been working great for us and what we love about it and why it is the ideal camper van for travelling Iceland in the winter. Now before I take you inside the camper van, I wanted to talk about the outside of the camper van a little bit first. Now this camper van is from Camp Easy. There are several camper van rental companies here in Iceland, but Camp Easy is one of the few that provide a four-wheel drive camper van. Now this enables you to take a camper van places where you wouldn't necessarily be able to take a two-wheel drive. Now this camper van in particular is a Mercedes Vito. Now Mercedes Vito van is just a normal van, but what Camp Easy have done is converted it into a camper van. Then they've also converted it into a 4x4, which means they've raised it up the floor slightly to give you more clearance. They've put on it big 4x4 ice tracks and tyres, and obviously then they've converted it from a two-wheel differential to a four-wheel drive differential, which makes it absolutely fantastic for driving. It's beautiful to drive. There have been several scenarios while here on our trip where we've seen two-wheel drives really struggling to get up icy hills or through snow, etc. And this thing has just blazed up it without a problem. Very comfortable. There's been no times where we've slipped off the road or hit a patch of ice. It's very stable, very comfortable, and it gives you no worries when you're driving. There's been no point on our 10-wheel trip where we've been kind of like, oh. It's been very, very comfortable. So yeah, let's take you inside and we'll take a look at the dash in the camper van, and I'll show you how we've been living in it and what we love about it. So Camp Easy provided us with a sat-nav, and this sat-nav is better than the sat-nav I have at home. It's really simple to use in another country, purely because you only have to put the place names in. You don't need addresses, you don't need postcodes. Whack the place name in and it will find it, and it's very easy to follow. It's not complicated. So all in all, just the whole driving experience of this van is a joy. It's part of the holiday, it's part of the experience. It's not a stressful experience at all. The dash is very simple, there's nothing too complicated. You can connect your phone in order to use your phone to actually ring people. And other than that, it's all the basic stuff you're used to in your normal car. So yeah, let's take you in the back of the camper van and we'll show you the living facilities. So here we are inside the back of the van. Now I'll talk you through the back section first, because this is the bedding area, and this is what you're going to be moving around most days. Some people do keep their bed out, but if you do want to use it as a living space as well, you're going to be converting this into your living space and then back into your bedding space each night and each morning. There's a table in the middle, and the table pops off really easily. You can just pop the top off, and you need to find somewhere to store that tabletop. In the daytime I've been storing it on the back seat, and I've also been using it to put the barbecue on the back seat so I can cook with the boot open. But then during the night I've actually been storing it in the footwell, and that's actually been helping quite a lot to push the heat from the heater up into the actual van instead of down into the footwell where it's quite cold. So that can be stored pretty much anywhere you like. You've got the pole from the table, that goes under one of the seats. So under this seat and the seat in front of me is where we keep our luggage. We have both, me and Emily, brought our luggage to Iceland in holdalls, and I would definitely recommend bringing it in a holdall or a soft shell bag. The reasoning behind that is because it's much easier to manipulate, and once you've taken some clothes out, the package then becomes smaller and you can store it much easier compared to having a solid suitcase. The back seat cannot be accessed from inside the van, so I'll show you that in a moment. But to convert this into a bed, it's very simple. I'll show you a time lapse of me and Emily doing it throughout our trip. But there are three bars inside one of the seats, and they go down this middle empty section. And then these two cushions that are hooked onto the side of the wall then fill the gap, and it creates actually a very nice sized double bed. Compared to other camper vans I've seen where the kitchen section is down the side, the double bed is a lot smaller, but this creates a lot of space, and at no point on this trip have we been fighting for room. We've actually had more than enough space. It's been very comfortable. So here at the back of the van you have another storage area which can't be accessed from inside the van. The way we've been using this space is to put our rucksacks, so when we do stop off I just grab it out. I have the tripod under there, things that you're not going to really need that often. I do think it might be a bit better if there was a cupboard door that side and you could get to it from the inside of the van, but it's not the end of the world, and a bit of extra space is always great because you are living in such a small area. You need to make space of every single bit available. So here's the kitchen area, and there's a lot of space here for use for food and storage and all kinds of things really. Me and Emily have kind of adapted it to our own way of doing things, so we haven't necessarily used the space how it was designed to be used, but I'm going to go through how we used it and also how Campese have designed it to be used. So this little dumping station here originally had the stove in, but me and Emily have a lot of bottles. We like to drink a lot. We've always got bottles in our backpacks in the front and stuff like that. So we've actually used this as a bottle storing area. So we've had the cafetiere, both the flasks, both the water bottles, and any other kind of cylinder instrument. We've had them all stacked in there, and that stops them all rolling around and moving. So that's what we've used that for. And then you have one drawer here, and that's got all your utensils in. They provide pretty much everything you need, from bottle openers to can openers to all your knives and forks, bowls, spoons, cups, chopping board, you name it, you pretty much got it in there. Everything you're going to need in a camper van anyway. Then you've got another little cupboard which just opens up here, and we've used that for our condiments. That's pretty much what it was designed for, I think, for some large cans and bottles and that kind of thing. Just got to be careful with that one because the weight does pull it back and you can trap your fingers in that one. Down here, which you'll probably struggle to see because of my knees, there is another push cupboard, and that is just simply a drawer. We have the frying pan and the saucepan in there, and then all of our dry good foods are in there. In this big space here, we've been kind of using this as a charging area for all our cameras and power banks. But we've also got the stove in there. I'll just get the stove out now. We put the stove in there because we've been using it a lot. We're always stopping to brew up some coffee, etc, etc. So we've had the stove in there with the extra gas. The stove's actually really useful, not useful, but really easy to use, I mean, sorry. It starts up really simple, it's very reliable, I've been pleased with that. And then just above the charging hole, as we've been calling it, you've got your charging deck where you can plug in pretty much everything you need in terms of charging things. So you've got a cigarette lighter, and the way we've been using that is Campese also provided us with one of these, and this is a inverter, and we've just put an adapter on there for our British plugs. We've had that in there. You don't need one of these, but the reason we've got one is for me to enable me to charge my DSLR batteries. It is only a charger, so you can't use it for powering up any electrical implements. It is just a charging port, but there is also a USB on there as well. And then on here as well, you've also got 2 USB ports. The way we've been using this system is as we've been driving and the engine's been charging the battery, we've been charging up our power banks throughout the day, and then charging up all our electronical goods in the evenings. So we haven't been charging up overnight and draining the battery. We've just been charging up our power banks throughout the day and then using them during the evenings. There is a voltage indicator on here which just tells you how much power you've got left in the 2 additional car batteries which are underneath the seat I'm sitting on. And that's what powers the heater, that's what powers the fan, that's what powers the pump for the sink, and that's what powers obviously the stuff you're charging. We've found that we haven't really had to worry about this. We've had the heater on all night keeping us warm, we've had the fridge on a little bit and having the lights on, etc. We haven't had to worry about it, although we have been keeping an eye on the digits, but we haven't really needed to at all. So let me just move that out of the way. Then you've got the sink. You've got a nice little sink with obviously a pump, running water. It's absolute luxury. You can wash up, you can get water to drink. We found that very useful. And then obviously you've got a small little fridge here as well. Because we're here in winter, we haven't had to have the fridge on pretty much at all, because it's been so cold anyway. But if you need to, you can power that up. Obviously that will start to drain your battery a bit more. Maybe you'll have to pay a bit more attention to how much voltage / wattage you've got left, but it's a fridge. You need a fridge at the end of the day. So that's your kitchen area. It's very simple, it's very small, it's very basic, but it's everything you need. And if you're able to live in a small space, you'll absolutely make it work. So there you have it. That's the 4x4 camper van that we've been travelling in for the past 10 days or so. And over the duration of the trip, we have absolutely fallen in love with it. It served us so well, and I think my particular favourite thing is the size of it. It's just so practical for driving around, but also there's plenty of space inside to be able to live happily and go on adventures. So I hope you have enjoyed having a look around and how we've been using it. It's quite a simple camper van really, but it's very enjoyable to drive and very enjoyable to be in and travel around in. So other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again very, very soon. So we were pretty sure before we started this trip that we wanted to purchase a camper van. And then after this trip, we are now 100% sure we want to buy a camper van. They're just so cool and convenient. I just love that wherever you go, you always have like a little base that you can work from. I think one of our favourite things about having a camper van in general was that we could go outside in the cold and experience all the amazing views, etc. that Iceland had to offer. But then we were able to go back in our camper van and enjoy the warmth and eat our lunch. And most of the time we could actually still see the views and the sights from the camper van while we were just sitting around. It was just absolutely fantastic. The other wonderful feeling that I felt while driving around is it's just nice to feel self-sufficient. Wherever you go and wherever you end up that night, you've got everything you need with you to be able to live and to just exist in that wonderful landscape. It was just fantastic. It was very similar to backpacking, how I feel when I'm backpacking. You know, you've got everything on your back and you've got your life support system with you. And it's the same as that, but just on a slightly bigger scale. And I just absolutely loved it. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I just thought it'd be very useful to show you guys around the camper van. I didn't really get to do that in any of the vlogs, etc. So I thought it'd be nice to actually shoot its own separate video. So I kind of shot that video throughout the trip in little segments when I got the chance, because I was quite tired most of the time, so I didn't have the energy to kind of do the whole thing in one big sitting. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that kind of gave you a bit of an idea of how we lived and kind of just a bit of an idea about the van itself. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave me a comment and maybe a like as well. It really does help me out. I'd just like to say another thank you to my Patreons. There aren't many of you, but it is slowly growing, and I've got a massive amount of appreciation for you guys who are willing to spend, you know, like £1 or so a month, because you think my videos are worth it. So thank you so much, and if any of you think it might be worth looking at, the link is in the description. If not, don't worry about it. But and again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again very, very soon.